All right, on September 20, 2022, that is 17 days away from now, campaigns will officially start for the 2023 general elections. And as we prepare for the campaigns, we want to also water the ground. How can we ensure that in this election that politicians, all stakeholders involved, focus on citizen-centered campaigns? That is why this morning we'll be looking at 2023 elections and citizen-centered campaigns.
And our guest for this morning, to do justice to our topic, is someone that everybody knows as a politician, a philanthropist, and you can also say political affairs commentator. But for this morning, he's here on the capacity of political affairs commentator, an expert when it comes to politics. And we're talking about Chief Jude Emecheta. So you're welcome to Weekend Show.
Thank you and good morning, viewers.
I'm happy you're dressed simple because this morning we want to see you as a very simple man. Even though you're a simple man with a huge portfolio, we want to look at the simplicity. Yeah. So I would like to ask, being in the forefront of politics for a long time, what would you say is the difference between what we're seeing? Because so far, I think a lot of people feel they can already see what's going to happen in 2023. So far, do you think there's any difference in the political scene of Nigeria, especially with regards to this upcoming election? Do you think it's going to be business as usual for politicians, or is going to be a bit more competitive, or is going to be, should I say, more like serious business? Because initially, people see politics as the usual business of politicians. You come, tell the people, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. On that day, you come out with money, you share money, the few people that will come out to vote, some people will not even have voter card. And at the end of the day, whether you vote, you don't vote, somebody is declared. Is that what we should expect in 2023 from what we're seeing so far?
Let me even start by saying that from 28th of February this year, INEC flagged off telling politicians that from March 1st, they should have collected the EC from 9, from 9A, 9B, 9C. These are what will give particulars of candidates from the party. You know, let's take this election from the beginning, so that we even know where we are going to, whether it will work, or we're going to look at politics. This is as usual. Is going to have a change this 2023. You know, usually INEC will give 350 days, according to the 2022 New Electoral Act, within which political parties will prepare for an election. We watch this thing start from March 1, correction of EC1, EC9, and all that. Politicians will remain whatever they are, always. So politics have already started since March, since February 28th, the day INEC announced that from March 1, people will begin to collect forms and all that. So if we look at what has been happening before, what is happening now, there's not much difference.
Is it from the aspect of the politician?
Both politicians and both the masses who are supposed to vote.
Okay.
It has always remained the same politics of which religion are you coming from, which tribe are you coming from. So the issue of campaigning based on what will benefit the masses is just, what would I call it? Just talk. There's no work.
Okay, but some people would argue that the masses are getting more involved in the political process.
What we see always. It's happened always. Before elections, there is this frenzy, there is this, so much noise. At the end of the day, this country has been so impoverished that when it gets to the time people take decisions, somebody brings some sack of money, food items, clothes, and drop in his face. And the man looks back. I better collect this rice. So now somebody will say, I can collect the rice and go with somebody else. Let me tell you something. This conscience that we have, when you collect money from somebody, is only a very, very few people, very few, will collect money from you and go and vote somebody else. But when you collect money from somebody, your conscience begins to flog you. That you are owing this man something. Let me just go and let me just vote for this man. Let me just vote for this man and go. So there is this much influence, money, food items, shelter, clothing, and all that. It is still happening again. If you are on ground, all the stories we hear now about we don't give shishi, there is this all over the place. They are doing 1 million campaign, 5 million work campaign. We have seen it before. We saw it in Abacha. We saw it in Obasanjo. We've been seeing it. 1 million match, 3 million match. Bottom line. Oh, somebody said, no, it's no more. It's not, that is the old times. That is no more like that. That these youth people are going to, come out strongly to show that they are discontented with what is happening. I'll be glad if it happens. Very, very glad if it happens. But I still see this youth that I'm seeing now. When it gets to the bottom line, some of them will cave in. If you look at what has happened in Osun, with all the noise, with all the, the day Peter Obi visited Osun, massive crowd around him. At the end of the day, Labour Party got 2,000 votes. Generally in Osun, the whole of Osun, 2,000 votes. I said, where were those youths who are going around him? Where were they? Or where are they? So what I'm trying to say is, let's not look at the story, the frenzy of people have changed their thoughts. People are hungry. People are not happy. People are not happy. Nobody is happy about what is happening in this country. There's no security. Somebody in APC wants to contest the election again. They have ruled us for 8 years. We don't see what they have done. Somebody will say, oh, don't say that again. They built the Second Niger Bridge. For Christ's sake, Second Niger Bridge should have a rail track. Okay. So what I'm trying to say in general is that the same story we had before. The same people. The same story. That's what I'm going to get again.
When you made reference to Osun State, someone would argue that showed that when it comes to now, there's been a bit change in terms of the fact that people are no longer voting party. People are now voting individuals. That is what can be argued. And that is what some people did argue on the case of Osun. People are of the opinion that, it was actually the candidate that the 1 million youths were rallying for, not the party. And it doesn't really matter which party the candidate is in. Now, my question is, do you really think that in 2023, it will no longer be party as usual? It's going to be candidates. Do you think we've gotten to that point where Nigerians can say, this member of this party will do us good, that person will not? So it doesn't really matter if you're for APGA, APC, PDP, Labour Party. It matters you as an individual and your capacity. Have we gotten to that point?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I still think the parties will have a very huge influence on this election. The parties will have very huge influence. The individuals can make some show. They can make some show in this election. Individuals. But I don't see individuals influencing the general election in this country. Okay. I'll tell you why. Why is that they entrenched two big parties, APC and PDP. The quantum of money they have, they will throw into this election. Individuals might not be able to have it to throw in. And I can tell you the poverty that it is this country today, that if you go down to the villages, the guys who vote, our grandmothers, our mothers, our brothers who are in the villages who do this election, on the election day, they're looking at the money. And in their psyche, what they still remember is, in those areas that APC has influence, they will always be there with their money. Where PDP has influenced, there might be some shift here and there, but it won't be enough to change the direction in this country for now.
Sorry, David. You know, why I still want to really fight, argue a little is because then, in the past, people would argue that the people who vote are in the villages. But during voter registration, we saw the massive turnout of these youths that a lot of people will say are only on social media. We saw how they left social media walls to come out physically to get their PVC. So, in your own opinion now, you still say the main people that vote are the villages. Are you trying to say these millions we're seeing on social media, their voter card might not be used, or that it will not really count compared to those in the villages?
Some will be used, but some will eventually be influenced by the parties that are
paying.
All right. I want us to bring in this issue of campaigns. You highlighted something very critical. You said that our campaigns still surround the religion, the sentiments ahead of this election. What are the things that we should be looking out for in these elections? What should take center stage instead of some of these sentiments that are already in play even before the campaigns have started?
You see, if INEC will be true to themselves, you know, there is a law that bans people from using religion to campaign. If INEC will be true to themselves and climb on politicians who make religious noise about individuals, climb on them, ban them, maybe we'll begin to see some light in what we are doing. We have enormous problems in this country that politicians can look at and tell us how do they want to solve these problems. We have power problem, we have fuel problem, we have so much problem in this country that politicians will be able to tell us this is what we need to do to get through with all this. So the election should be issue-based and not religious-based. I can give you an example. Now the APC is doing Muslim. They didn't put into consideration that this country is multi-religious and ethnic. So it shows you that somebody is doing something. He said, I'm choosing a Muslim from the north because that's where I'm going to get my votes. So he's really talking about using a Muslim in the north to get Muslim votes in the north, which is completely wrong. Okay, so that's part of what we are saying. Peter Obi is running around. If you go to the north, what they're campaigning against him is that he's a Christian. Yes. Let's not vote for a Christian. He's IPOB. Let's not vote for him. You know, they are using some other sentiments not because he's not competent. Because of religion, because of where he's coming from, they're using it against him. So what I'm trying to say is that if we do issue-based campaign, sensitize the electorate, that look, you get more if you have people who will give you social amenities. You get more from them. You know, so we need to intensify the politics, this campaign, to be really issue-based. Peter Obi, Labour Party, they said they would do issue-based campaign. Abga candidate has said he would do issue-based campaign. Now, others have not really told us what they want to do. They're just, prefabbricating around today, tomorrow, waiting for one thing or the other to say. So what I'm trying to say is that religion, ethnicity will play a very big part. I just came back from Lagos, and I can tell you, the typical Yoruba man, there's no need our making much about it. Typical Yoruba man will vote for Tinubu.
Because he's Yoruba.
Because he's Yoruba. Yeah. It is our local, it's our turn. Okay? So, Nigeria has not gotten to a point that people will begin to look at candidates who merit or who can give us. They tell us how Tinubu did Lagos this, did Lagos that, did Lagos this, that. Fine. How old is Tinubu now?
All right. We'll continue with those points. I also have some questions I would like to ask. Let's go to the streets now where Oge is. She spoke to some residents of Awka on this topic. Stay with us.
Welcome to another edition of Street Waka segment on ABS Television. Today we are here to find out from the residents issues they think the politicians and those campaigning for the 2023 election should make the front burner. Come with me and let's go find out.
The coming 2023 general election in Nigeria is going to be a defining moment. It's going to be a mark for a new Nigeria, be it in the economy, human resource management, industrial creation, security, everything. In fact, even our governance system generally. People who are now aspiring to be in the helm of affairs, in the control of Nigerian leadership system from 2023 should be telling Nigerians how they are going to reconstruct the economy of this country, how they are going to reconstruct the social and political sector of this country. For instance, our government so far have been a system that is taking care of only the elite.
There is a lot of places to pay attention, but me, I would say they should pay more attention on the education sector. So the one that are coming should first go and work on that issue with ASU, so that they will resolve their case and students should go back to school, because it's really affecting them, and most of them are really turning into something else because of idleness, and these have gone way too long and needs to be resolved. So to me, because the students are the youths, and I believe you can't say that you want to carry the youths along without education, because it's basically students, it's basically youths that do go to school. So I think the education sector is more important to me.
For the federal election, the presidential candidate, I wish they will pay more attention to issue of power generation, transmission and distribution. One of the presidential candidates is talking about moving away from consumption to production. You can't talk about production if you don't have power. When I mean power, I mean electricity. At any level of production, whether small scale, medium or large scale production, power is the key. A good percentage of your profit margin goes into energy. You can even try nuclear, radioactive mineral deposits. I think uranium, whether in some part of the north, we can go into that. Try that. We can also revisit coal. These advanced countries that tell us not to go into coal, they still use coal. US still use coal. China is one of the highest consumers of coal to power. Then you also have India, can also go into biomass, but that will be on a micro level.
From the street, you can see the different sectors and issues the residents consider to be the front burner for the 2023 upcoming campaign. We've come to the end of the Street Waka segment on ABS Television. Remember, my name is Okechukwu Azubike. See you next week.
views from the street, and our guest is still saying, it's not going to be a different story. It's not going to be a different story. My question now is, you've told us about what INEC can do differently to help. What can the citizens do differently in order to ensure that these politicians, they give us issue-based campaign, especially issues that the citizens want addressed? Is there anything the citizens can do, or what is done is already done?
No, you see, I think most governments are not really living up to what they should be doing. National Orientation Agency is an agency cut out to help reorientate Nigerians what they should be expecting. They are not doing it. Most state governments have information ministries. Those information ministries should be working as orientation arm of government. People should on a daily basis be told what they should be asking from government, what they should be expecting from government. People don't really know what they can get from government. They don't know. All they believe that the moment we vote you in, you are gone. And they don't know how to make you to get those things you have promised them. So that means politicians can come and tell you stories, walk away, come back after 4 years again, give you reasons. Or the former government have finished our money, we don't have money again, now what we are looking for money. It happens everywhere. The people are not being irritated to exactly know what they should be asking for.
All right, I want to ask this question as we begin to round off, especially as it concerns the campaigns that will start this month. What are the kind of solutions you feel that can sell well with Nigerians at the moment?
If you don't tell us how you give us power, we need electricity. How do we get, what will you do to generate power? Don't tell us, I'll give you 60 megawatts. Tell us, what are you going to do in the present Nigeria? What will you do to give us power? Then people can interrogate it, think through it and say, oh, this will work, this will not work. Okay, so if our people can insist, like right, what is happening now? People are beginning to think differently. But my problem is, we didn't yield the appropriate result. There is a deep paradigm shift in terms of, we can have something different from what we used to have. But can it be sustained to give us that result at the end of the day? So what we need to do is to get the state governments to begin to sensitize people in their different localities. This is what you should be asking for. This is what you should get. This is how how you're going to go. The politicians themselves should at least be honest with us. Tell us this is what is available. If you're not in government, you wouldn't know how much comes in to government, both IGR, both from federal government. So you don't even know how much that comes in. So how do you begin to talk about, I'm going to tie all the roads in Anambra State, I'm going to tie all the roads in Lagos, I'm going to tie all the roads in Nigeria. You don't even know how much that comes into Nigeria. You don't even know what problem we have. People don't interrogate this things at all. So the problem we really have is that people don't have information. If you have information, we can interrogate what they are telling us. Now, members of House of Assembly are going around telling people they will tie their road, they will do, I know, for Christ's sake, State Assembly, National Assembly, how can you tie roads? It's an executive problem. So that's what the thing we begin to interrogate and begin to ask people, tell us exactly what you need to do for us.
All right. It's been nice one having you, Chief Jude Ebech, the political analyst, and as well, he's been involved when it comes to politics in successive governments in Anambra and in Nigeria as well. This is where we'll call it wraps on this discussion segment on The Weekend Show.